again, True Hebrews United of the Lord Yeshua should be love, holiness instructor. About to, we'll have this playlist going. Thank all those Facebook, YouTube, all those members at True Hebrews United. Love you guys, much beloved. Those up north, those coming on the way that we don't know, and those that are already present. Praise the Lord, getting people ready, saved and sanctified, ready for persecution to hit this land. And we may be saved in the day of judgment. With all that said being done, I want to deal with this whole New Year's because I see so many people giving reference to January 1st as the New Year's, but that isn't the Almighty's New Year's. We don't go by a Gregorian calendar, and you can look up that calendar from paganism. We go by the biblical calendar. Some people call it the Jewish calendar or the Hebrew calendar. No, it's the Almighty's calendar that he gave to men. It has nothing to do with being a Jew, especially no false Jewish people. It has nothing to do with being a Hebrew Israelite. The Almighty gave this time to his people, to the whole planet. So I'll prove that real quick in the book. Genesis chapter 1, we're going to start at verse 14. Genesis 1:14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So Almighty put lights in the heaven for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. So he gave us the sun and the moon for our days and our years. But let's keep going. And let the be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights. The greater light to rule the day, that's the sun. The lesser light to rule the night, that's the moon. And he made the stars also. And he set them in the firmaments of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning was the first day. So in creation, God created these lights so we can have our seasons, our winter and our fall and our spring and our summer. So we can have our days. You know, we have the sunlight for our days, and we can have the moon to dictate our months and for our nights. And we have the stars and the constellations to find out where you are on the planet and all that good stuff and whatnot. Not to worship the host of heaven, by the way, but for direction and whatnot. So he gave this to us to establish our days and our years. He didn't give us no Gregorian calendar. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. So through the course of time, our forefathers to the Hebrew Israelites are all those that believe in the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by faith, that are believing in the true and living God by faith. He gave this to you, and somewhere down the line, we lost that when we went into Egypt for 430 years. So when we are about to be exodus out, when we are about to be taken out, this is what the Almighty shared with Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, and it shall be the first month and of the year to you. So once again, he instituted his time, and it was by the sun and the moon and the months. If you read Numbers and Leviticus and all that, every new moon, when you first see the first crest, that's the new moon, means a new month. So the moon dictates our month, and the sun dictates our day. From sunset to sunset is one day, and from new moon to new moon is 1 month. That's what we have it. So he gave us the month of the Abib. So my thing is, why is January 1st, a person that believes in this Bible, January 1st their New Year's, when the Almighty gave them a time? And the Gregorian calendar does not go by the sun and the moon. And I'll show you in the Bible how the wicked one will come and change the times and the laws. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7. We're going to go with verse 23. Daniel 7:23. Then, this is when he's dealing with Bible prophecy. Thus he said, The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise. Another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into the hand until a time and times and divided in times. So it says that they're going to seek to change times and laws. Whether or not this is coming to pass as we speak or is going to come to pass, they are already changed the main worship day, which is the Sabbath, to Sunday. Sunday is not the Sabbath, and Sunday is not the Lord's Day. The Lord's Day is Friday at sunset to Saturday at sunset, or the last day of the week, the Sabbath. That is it. If you even look and do your research called Sunday laws, they already have laws mandated to where you have to worship on Sunday. I work in the union. They make Sunday double time. So they're giving reference to Sunday and giving homage or giving respect to Sunday, and they disregard the Sabbath. They're already trying to change the times. They're trying to say, oh, January 1st is the New Year's. Well, if you look at the Hebrew calendar, the New Year's start the first day of spring. When God created, everything grew. So how is your New Year's, your January 1st, in the dead of winter, where nothing grows, where it snows, nothing grows, and that's the beginning of the year? That's how you dictate the beginning of the year. Versus the Almighty's time, not the Jewish calendar or the Hebrew calendar. This is the Almighty, because He created time. And I'm going to get with that side note too. How does man dictate when the year starts? Man does not create time. The Almighty creates time. So you don't have the authority to determine when your year starts and when your year ends. The Almighty dictates. Whether you go by a Chinese calendar or Gregorian, American calendar, whatever calendar you go by, you don't have the authority as a man to dictate time. We got our time in Genesis 1, and then we got our time again with Moses. Now I proved that people in the New Testament, in the New Covenant, were still keeping the Hebrew calendar. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 16. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, we're going to start at verse 6. It may be that I will abide with you, this is Apostle Paul, and winter with you, that you may bring me on my journey wheresoever I go. For I will not see you now by the way, but I trust to tarry a while with you if the Lord permit. But I will tarry at Ephesus until Pentecost. For a great day and effectual is open unto me, and there are many adversaries. So one right here, it proves that in the New Covenant, they were still keeping the Almighty's feast days. They're still keeping the Almighty's feast days, and including the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is a holy convocation, and that means you need to have service. That means you gather together and have service every Sabbath. So it was no Sunday, but right here it shows you that He's going to tarry at Pentecost. So the Romans, because when Yeshua, or what these people call Jesus, came on the scene, the Romans had rule. The Romans weren't using the sun and the moon to dictate their time. The Romans had their own calendar. They weren't using the Hebrew calendar, but yet He knew when Pentecost was going to happen. If you read the book of Acts, it talks about how they kept the days of unleavened bread, how they kept Pentecost. They were keeping the Passover. They were keeping all that. So how were they knowing when Pentecost is going to happen unless they know how to keep the Hebrew calendar? Because everything is based off of the Hebrew year and not the Hebrew year, the Almighty's time and the Almighty's calendar, and not based off no Roman calendar, no Gregorian calendar, no Chinese calendar, whatever, no Aztec calendar. All that stuff, none of it is worth anything with the Almighty. All that stuff is garbage. So with all that said being done, if you choose for January 1st to be your New Year's, then you disregard the Almighty's time, and you disregard what He created. And if the Almighty's calendar is done away with, then why do we still have a sun? And why do we still have a moon? And why do we still have stars? Oh, well, we have the sun, so we know our days. Exactly. Oh, we have the moon, so we know our nights. Exactly. So if the Almighty's time is done away with, then why do we have a sun and a moon? You know exactly why. So we can know our time, our days, and our nights. And that also dictates our seasons. And that also dictates our the sun and the moon. Our years. And that also dictates our seasons, because depending on how much sunlight there is in a day, depends on certain crops grow. This is why certain crops grow at the end of the year, and certain crops grow at the beginning of the year, and certain crops grow all year long. So the Almighty set this. He set it to where there'll be a time where there's equal part day and equal part night. He set it where there'll be a time where there is only 10 hours or 9 hours in the day. And then you notice that, hey, those certain crops grow at that time, and certain crops grow at, so everything has a time and a season. So with all that said being done, don't disregard the Almighty's time. Research those things out. Our New Year's is coming up in roughly, to translate to Gregorian time, roughly April. But that is the month of Abib for us. That's the first month for us. For the translating to the Gregorian time, that's roughly the month of April. Roughly April 10th. I need to go translate it and whatnot. April 10th. Wait, 22nd. Yeah, April 10th or April 8th. But with all that said being done, hey, keep standing. Don't drop standards. January 1st is not the people, the Almighty's New Year's. Our New Year's is coming up. And shalom.